Glenn, how are you, brother?
I am really good. Really good. I thought we witnessed a miracle last night.
Well, I think that's a good way of putting it. In fact, I saw your tweet along those lines. I think you said something like, hey, before we get a little too full of ourselves, let's remember that the good Lord probably stepped in and saved us from ourselves. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I think this is an opportunity that the good Lord has given us to get it right. And there can be no rest for the weary, for those of us that have fought to get to this place. And I give significant credit to President Trump for withstanding, as I think I said and I tweeted out earlier, all of the assaults against him, literal assaults in terms of assassination, but the lawfare against him, the impeachment efforts, the Russian hoax, the media. And he navigated, as we well know, a legitimate primary, unlike Kamala Harris. And here he stands with a mandate. We'll see what happens in the House. It's obviously very thin in the House. We can talk about that more if you want. But we've got to deliver now. We have to deliver.
So Congressman Raskin is saying, all kinds of stuff. Is that an empty threat, or are they planning on, trying to not certify on January 6th?
Well, first of all, this is why it's really important, these last few races that are sorting out, like what the numbers end up being in the House of Representatives. Obviously, the House is critical with respect to how we handle the process of certifying the election, taking the electors. I will say that I think I have a certain degree of credibility to make strong arguments for why we are to certify the electors. The states will send us the electors and should, and we should certify them. Now, if there's some kind of chicanery that's going on where they're trying to undermine the will of the electorate, then we'll have to look at that. But I fully expect the states to send us the electors under law, and that we should do our job to certify. But let's be very clear. President Trump should be certified. It's very clear that he was the winner. Anybody with eyes can see that. And I think Jamie Raskin and others are just, crying in their milk. And, it was always for them about power, never about the Constitution. Some of us were trying to stand up and defend the Constitution and are trying to maintain that credibility across elections. So, for example, I didn't believe Mike Pence could unilaterally decide as vice president not to certify the election, right. Nor do I believe that Kamala Harris can unilaterally reject certification of the election. I think that principle is important here, and that's why I took it 4 years ago, and that's why I'll defend it now.
He's bringing up that you're just not paying attention to all those Civil War amendments where you can't be an insurrectionist and serve as president. That they meant it back then. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Chip, and you might know better than I do, but I don't think they enforced any of that because they forgave the insurrectionists. They were trying to heal the nation. First of all, he's never even been charged, let alone convicted of being an insurrectionist. They never even charged him with that. He's taking this and making it into something that it was not. Am I reading that right?
I think that is correct. And the whole point of the post-Civil War structure was to heal the country, right? It was to figure out how we could keep everybody working together. And they wanted to have, very specific safeguards for those who took up arms and fought. And in this instance, as you point out, there has been no determination by any legal authority that the president had engaged in anything akin to insurrection. What Jamie wants to say is that in light of what the court said, I think what was it in Colorado, that in light of that the Congress could make that determination, right? The Congress could just say, you're an insurrectionist, so you can't be seated as president. Well, first of all, I don't think that's correct. I don't think Congress can just, say that.
Yeah,
but
right.
Importantly, if we have the majority, if Republicans have the House majority, then we are certainly not going to do that. And I think when push comes to shove, the vast majority of Democrats, when they look at what that would mean, when they see how much they were utterly destroyed at the ballot box, that you're starting to see even their craziest are kind of looking starry-eyed like, well, wait a minute, did we get a little too crazy this time? And I don't believe that they would have a lockstep block of Democrats to do that. And I certainly don't think there's a single Republican that would do that. So as long as we've got the majority, as long as we do our job, we're going to certify the election and Donald Trump will become president. But I can promise you this, Glenn, on this hill, I will die in fighting to defend what the people have done in choosing to elect Donald Trump. And that's why these things matter, that we do them the right way.
Are we going to be able to, if they take control, are we just now locked? I mean, there's a possibility we have 45 to 47 senators. We could get a lot done in spending and taxes and everything else. But without that Congress, are we just locked?
Well, we should. You mean if we don't actually get the majority in the House? Is that what you mean?
If we don't have the majority of the House, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you don't have that House majority, we're in real bad shape. Now, I believe we're going to have it. I mean, the numbers I saw this morning had us at 219 to 216, but there were about 5 or 6 seats within 1%. The last count I saw had it up to 220. I think some of the people I trust are telling me 221, 222 is possible. I haven't looked at each, election, Glenn, but going with people that I trust, I think we're going to end up in that zip code, which is roughly where we are now, right? We start now, I think, at 222. Now, that's a tight majority. So the real rubber meets the road. I'm assuming we're going to have the House and that we have roughly 220, 221, 222. When the real rubber meets the road, it's going to be when we get into reconciliation and we're having real fights over tax policy that we can do at a majority vote. Whether or not we have the nerve and the backbone to stand up in the House and the Senate and do serious transformative policy changes that aren't the bidding of K Street and Wall Street. The real test for Republicans, are we going to empower Main Street Americans, hardworking Americans, the people that elected Donald Trump? Are we going to give them relief on health savings accounts? Are we going to make sure that they get tax policy that is beneficial to them? Or is this just a K Street sop? That's going to be the real first test for Republicans, in my opinion.
And that will really show its true colors when in the Senate here in the next few days. I mean, McConnell is going to be looking for that vote, and he's going to want it to go to Cornyn or some other rhino like that to keep control of the power in the Senate. That's got to be broken up. Have you talked to the president about any of this stuff?
Well, I'm trying to give those guys a lot of room here to celebrate their win. But I've been on contact with a lot of people around him, talking about the things that I know we need to do. And I'm heading to Washington tomorrow. I'm huddling with my team in Texas today. We're going to, we've got our thoughts about where things need to go. We want to work with the team, but there's going to be leadership questions in both the Senate and the House. And I say that not with any pejorative towards any individual. What I'm saying is this is a unique moment in history. Nothing should be assumed. We should start recognizing that this was America giving us a blank slate. And if Republicans do not deliver, we will go the way of the Whigs. The Republican Party will die. So the question right now is, will we put forward the right team and the right agenda in the House and the Senate to run alongside President Trump, to secure the border, to deport the mass numbers of illegal aliens that have been dumped into our country, to constrain spending, to constrain inflation, to stop endless wars, to restore a military that is not woke, that is strong but sparingly used? Will we restore healthcare freedom and make America healthy again with health savings accounts, instead of doing the bidding of pharma and insurance and big hospital corporations? Will we stand up for Americans being able to protect and defend their own families and have secure communities? We have to do it, Glenn. There is no option. Failure is not an option here.
I know. This is it. You've been given a second chance, and it has taken a miracle to do it. And if the GOP screws this one up, whatever. But I hope that we are. I hope that between Elon Musk and the people that he could rally, Donald Trump and the people he can rally, and RFK, the people he can rally, and this kind of group of people that don't agree on everything can help us heal, but also take down big pharma and get that money out of the system. Get the Faucis and the CDC and all of this stuff cleaned up, to the point of shutting it down and restarting if you have to. But it's absolutely corrupt, and I believe the American people was sent the message last night. That's what we want.
Yeah, Glenn, I hope you can hear me. I am 100% on the same page as you. There should be a loud and clear message that was delivered to the swamp, to the uniparty. President Trump, when he came in 2017, by his own admission, was kind of feeling out the town. And frankly, I don't think realized how bad it was. I think you've seen that awakening in Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Democrat. These individuals now see how it's so broken. A lot of us that have been up there kind of, I don't want to use the term prophet because that seems sacrilegious, but those of us who have been kind of projecting and sort of trying to be a voice in the wilderness. And, people get mad. They say, Chip, we only hear you giving speeches. What are you doing? It's like, look, man, I need 218 votes for change, and I need a willingness to fight, and I need an executive branch then that will go act. Yeah. And, we've been out there trying to highlight these issues, right? When now everybody knows about Jocelyn Nungare and about Laken Riley. Man, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd come on your program and you and I would talk about it. But it has taken a while for the American people to believe that their government would do to them what it's been doing. And so now they see it. Their eyes are open. COVID helped. Elon buying Twitter helped. Guys like you that have been on the front lines that have been saying, hey, here's the truth. That has all helped us expose all of this. But now
I have to tell you, I'm shocked. I'm shocked Peanut the squirrel helped. I mean, it's crazy what a statement that squirrel and the overreach of government. I mean, that is just out of control. It's just out of control. Chip, I've got to run, and I know you've got a busy day. Keep up the good work. Congratulations on the progress that we have made, and we're expecting big things. Come the new term. Thank you.
God bless you, Glenn. Thanks for what you do.